I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I was talking and all of a sudden, take two. Welcome to Write Your Book, Grow Your Business. 7 strategies to help you gain confidence and clarity in the message that you are designed to deliver to the world. I'm Mary Knipple, your book mentor and the founder of yourwritingmentor.com. And I see that we have some people who hung in there with me and say thank you very much. I just want to welcome you again and say I'm going to use a little slideshow here, and please, if you have any comments, please put them in the chat and know that I will respond to you when I'm not presenting, because I can't do this is a big learning curve, and looking at the chat and doing the slides is too much to juggle for this iteration. I'm sure that at some point I will be able to finesse, but this is a one-woman show, and I want to focus on giving you the best information I can, and for all of us to just sit back and relax and go through the slides and help you absorb in the best way possible. And that's my take on. You just put it in the chat, and when we get through the slides, then I'll take a look at any conversation or any comments or questions that you have in there. So please feel free to jot them down and I will look at them. So welcome. We are going to get started. And I will share my screen. And away we go. There we go. Let's see. Let's get this a little there. Here we go. Here we go. So write your book and grow your business. I know that it can be daunting to think about, oh, a book, but it's one paragraph at a time, and there's something that has been laid on your heart for you to share with the world, and I'm here as a catalyst to help you realize that dream. Where are we? So to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been this frustrated and confused about knowing what to say and wondering who is even listening. But I've been a journalist for over 35 years. I know that when you get to the core of who you are and what it is that you are meant to say, that things brighten up and you feel that you have found the path to be able to share what it is that you were meant to say. But I wasn't always encouraged to be a writer. It wasn't until I had my second breast cancer experience that I woke up to the fact that I couldn't wait any longer to write my book, nor could I wait to encourage those reluctant writers, the other women who I felt I was in league with, that were silent as well, that I was the catalyst who was sent to help them recognize their story mattered and that they were the only ones who could tell it from their perspective, but I was here to help them. And I'm here today to help you dive in and transform your confusion into confidence and frustration into ease and flow. So I did get training as a reporter, a journalist, and that's what I would like everyone to put their reporter hat on now and be curious with me, so that you can learn that trick or strategy as a way for you to go deeper within your story and the story that you are meant to share out into the world. So let's Let's start. What about your why? As a kid, you explored, you found treasures, and you brought them home. And you wanted to share them. You wanted to talk about, oh, look what I found, look what I discovered. And your why is a treasure that is unique to you and the gift you share with the world. It's your core message and the reason you do what you do. I firmly believe that the thing that lights us up, that the thing that keeps us going and doing what we do is what is embedded in that childlike curiosity and discovery and the joy of making a difference, having an impact. Oh, um, too often I feel I hear people say that, oh, I don't have anything interesting to say, nothing really extraordinary has happened to me. And that breaks my heart because we all have overcome something and we all have learned how to cope. And those are the stories that make your potential clients, your people that you are meant to have an impact on, the ones you have an influence over, those are the stories that they recognize themselves in you. And that's how they will lean in and go, she understands. She knows where I'm coming from. She's reading my mind. And the more you recognize that your business is embedded in your personal story, that it's all you, then you will embrace those ways that you have overcome and propel you forward. The things that keep you moving forward. Um, my core message is that your story matters and no one can tell your story from your perspective except you. It's critical that your readers know, like, and trust you. And when they can feel that your why is such a part of you and your core message, then they can relax because they have a feeling that you're someone that truly understands and is the solution or offering the solution for them to be able to relax and say, I can move forward because I don't have to figure it out by myself. Here's somebody that is going to help me. So then when we know our why, then we can concentrate on our who you are meant to serve. So many entrepreneurs have conquered a specific dilemma for themselves, and then they offer that solution to others who are suffering from the same difficulties. In essence, think about when you were getting started. Think about what you were mired in or the challenges that you were faced with and how you persevered. What was it that kept you going? What were the tricks and techniques that got you to get up in the morning and figure out, okay, what do I do next? What were the little things? What little things can I do to move myself forward and not be bogged down with, oh, there's so much to do, I don't know what to do first. You figured out that you break it into small chunks and you give yourself deadlines. I mean, one of the things that has always made a difference for me is I kept a journal since I was 11 years old. I know that the power of the pen is the greatest thing, that a strategy that anybody can use. You don't have to go to India and learn from a guru. You don't have to have fancy equipment. A piece of paper and a pen, and you have a conversation with yourself to help you move forward. Um, and I understand how hard it is to put yourself out there, to speak up, to be visible, and it's safer to remain silent. It's safer to be invisible in the background. And one of my things about being a journalist and asking questions and helping people go deeper is that I go deeper with you, and the tears come, and it's fabulous because they're healing, and it's such an important part of your story, and I welcome the opportunity to go deeper with you. And I always want to share one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, because so often people will say, who am I to talk about that? And one of her quotes is, she'd pick up her pen and start to, and her legal pad, and she'd go, oh, they're going to find out I'm a fraud. They're going to find out I don't know anything. The celebrated author had that inner critic nagging at her. But you know what she did? You know what her compelling and propelling move was? She kept writing. And that's what I encourage all of us to do, is to keep writing. Yes, that inner critic is going to show up, but we just say, okay, you had your say. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to write. And you do that, and you write. Okay, so we go from the who to the what. And the reason I have Wonder Woman here is twofold. When you sit down to write, we wonder, what do we say? And who wants to hear from us anyway? And the second reason is, she's a strong, confident, determined woman. She's ready to do battle. And the other thing is, she has her lariat of truth. You are going to tell your message, and that is your truth. You are the only one who knows the significance of what you have overcome. And no one can take that away from you. No one can take your perspective away from you. No one's lived in your skin. So when you sit down to write, I encourage you to not think about masses of people out there. I encourage you to address one reader, one person that you are going to have an impact on. And the caveat to that is that you be sure that the first reader you move is yourself. Because if you're bored, if you're thinking, then that's going to come across. So you be confident in your message. You be confident that this is what you believe, and you are clear that this is how you got here, and this will make a difference in someone else's life. And the things that I would encourage you to think about when you're wondering, well, what do I write? You want to be inspirational. You want to be informative. You want to be relevant and timely. You know, there's a reason why you're sitting here listening to this training today. It's timing is everything. I am committed to inspiration, compassion, and synchronicity. So I am dedicated to being a catalyst to help you be inspired by the wisdom of your own story, to have compassion for your circumstances, how you got to be who you are, and to recognize that the timing, divine timing is perfect. So it may not be our timetable, but things happen. Nothing is random. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. And make what you say matter. That's how you build a relationship with your readers. That's how you build a relationship. Okay. So then we get to, where are we going to put this stuff? Where are we going to be scheduling things and putting it on paper, putting it, okay. Sorry, I'm checking my notes and I was like, okay, what did I do? Um, focus today, the focus today is on your business story. So we obviously the where is going to be the book, but the truth is that writing the book is a piece of your visibility, because once you've written it, you want to be visible. You want people to find you, but you want to help them find you. So you want to make sure that you have a website. You want to make sure that you're being visible by posting on a blog. That yes, you're on social media, but anything that you're doing on social media should have started on your website and on your blog, because that's where you own that real estate. And parts of what you learn from your book is going to be in your talks. It could grow into a course that you're going to give. It could be your Facebook Lives, where you're going to let people build a relationship with you because they're going to see you live and in person. You're going to do interviews, and that's going to be talking about the book, but it's also building a relationship where people get to know, like, and trust you again, that they hear the struggle of the core message of how you got to be who you are. And of course, your bio is a little blurb somewhere, and it's the words that paint a picture that help people recognize that you are who they are looking for. It sparks something that they want to be able to lean into you. You want them to be along for knowing who you are and why you do what you do, so that you are there to answer theirs, be the answer and the solution for what they're going through. That you are offering them hope, you are offering them confidence in their transformation, because you're being transparent with your transformation. And I understand that there's some vulnerability involved in that, and that's part of being visible. The when, she's got a checklist here, because being consistent is what's important to be building the relationship. And writing the book, it's being consistent when you sit down to create that content, when you are showing up on the page to having the relationship with that book. As a developmental editor, that's one of the things that people struggle with, is just like, I don't have time to write this book, but it's been nagging at me, and I'm finally ready. And so that's another part of the when, is being consistent, of showing up on the page, making an appointment with yourself, so that, okay, maybe it's writing for 15 minutes, or setting aside a half an hour from your lunch break, or instead of sitting down to play solitaire, that you make a deal with yourself that you have to write for so long before you can pick up and do any of that other stuff. And it's so you build that writing muscle. The critical thing to remember is that you are training your brain to deliver that information, that you are inviting the muse to come, and you create this sacred space. I mean, when uh, I have a morning ritual where I will light a candle, I will play the same music, and I will read some inspirational books, and get into that zone where I want to receive the message that the universe is going to deliver to me. And when you write consistently in a journal, that opens up space for the universe to keeps fueling you, keep sending down those messages. And whether or not you believe that the universe is sending you something, I know that when you build your writing muscle, just the way you go to the gym and you wouldn't pick up a 50-pound weight, you'd pick up 1 pound and 5 pounds and build up to it. So I wouldn't say, oh, you have to have a 4-hour block, and then that way the information for your book is just going to tumble out. It doesn't work that way unless you're writing with a formula. And yeah, formulas can work, but that doesn't get to the heart, and it doesn't allow you to associate this feeling with that story of when that happened and then this happened. And you're a detective, you're following, you're being curious, you're following the leads, and those threads that all come together that form who you are. There are so many threads, there are so many stories, there are so many ways that you can be inviting the reader into who you are, and intimately know, I'm so involved in you being who you need to be. And I'm opening myself up. I'm being the mirror so that you can see the difference that this had on me, and this had on me, and this had on me, how I got to be who I am. And I don't want you to be me. I want you to be the best you that you can be. But I'm offering you this scenario so that you can see yourself in it. Okay, let's see. Oh, and the how. I guess I was a little bit in the how, wasn't I? Because journaling is the way that I invite everyone to get started in their how. Lots of successful people do not have a book, and but I am of the opinion that everyone has a book inside them. And whether or not it's a book that focuses on your business, or it's a memoir, certainly as entrepreneurs, it's important that you be visible, and a book is a great way for you to be visible and to let people really get a spotlighted view of what it is that you are able to help people with. But I want to stress here that no matter how streamlined you are about, well, this is my business and this is what I do, having a bit of your personality and your own perspective and your sense of style, that's going to seep into it. And whether or not you say, well, I'm not getting personal with this, I promise you will be. Because the awful truth about being visible these days is you need to be you need to be found if someone Googles you. And so you need to have an online presence. And my secret ingredient to write your book and to grow your business is to have heart, to express your humanity, to share your feelings. This little girl, just, you look at her and you're just like, she's so excited about life. You just want to, oh, let's go. I want to be with her. And so it's beyond the details of your story, although I stress here, details are really, really important. And I'll give you an idea of an example of that right now. But your feeling solidifies the connection between you and your reader. And you want to share content that helps your readers know who you are and that you live your core message. So one of my clients, I was helping her with her updating her website, and we were going over her bio, and I said, oh, okay, let's really beef up your bio here. Let's plug in some details that I see are missing. And so I asked her to just tell me about her first job, and she's very well connected, and quite an industry leader. And she started going, well, I worked for this company, and I got this award, and this company I did this, and I stopped her and I said, I want you to go all the way back to when you first got paid for doing a job. And she looked at me and she's like, oh, I was a kid. Okay. First job. I babysat. Doesn't everybody? No. I was the oldest girl. I had younger siblings. So yeah, I took care of them. But as far as being called babysitting, no. So, and I said, okay, let's have some more details here. And she said, okay, I babysat the next door neighbor's newborn. Okay, and how old were you? I was 10. I'm a mother. I don't know that I know that I would not have let an ordinary 10-year-old babysit my newborn. And I looked at her and I said, okay, more details, please. Why would a grown woman let a 10-year-old take care of a newborn? And she looked at me and she said, well, of course she would let me, because she'd seen me with my handicapped brother. She knew I could handle things. Details. Painting the picture. So there was a different perspective. We could understand how an adult would have confidence in a 10-year-old if she'd seen her having compassion and patience with a handicapped brother. And shortly after that, we were at a networking event and she was on a panel and they were invited to introduce themselves. And I went up to her and I said, hey, here's your opportunity to give them a new perspective about yourself. Tell them the babysitting story. And she just looked at me like, what? No, these are all professional women and they know me for, who I am. And I go, yeah, they do. And what if they saw a different side of you? And I didn't, she just walked away, and I wasn't convinced that she was going to, share that part of her heart. But she did. And I watched as the other woman leaned in a little more. And it's like, I didn't know that about her. Isn't that interesting? And afterwards, she came up to me and she said, do you know that I had half a dozen women come up to me and just want to chat? They didn't want free advice. They didn't want, want me to solve something for them. They wanted to know about me. And I said, isn't that delicious? That's just fabulous that they saw a new side of you. And wouldn't you know, that gal's industry is sales. So she's outstanding in her field because she's been doing that her entire life. And that's one way to show you one story to show you how sharing your feelings and your humanity helps you paint the picture for who needs to find you. And I do think that that kind of detail, that richness, invites your reader to lean in to you and your core message. So thank you for attending Write Your Book, Grow Your Business, free training. I hope you'll take away a new perspective on the who, what, when, where, why, how, and heart. I'm Mary Knipple, your book mentor, and I would love to have a conversation with you about activating the book that isn't being laid on your heart. We'll stop the share right now so I can go in and see if there's anything in the chat. So drop your name and email in the chat if you would like to have a conversation with me, or you can go to mary@yourwritingmentor.com. And I would love to hear about what's next for you as far as visibility, that you have an idea for a book, you have something that you want to be writing about and something stopping you. I'm here to be that catalyst. I'm a cheerleader, an architect, and a nudge, because I know you have a story. I know you have a book inside you, and the world is waiting to hear from you. I'm an architect, and I'll meet you wherever you are on your writing journey. That you've been invited to write a chapter in a co-author book, and you don't know where to start. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about the way that you can start, because 9 times out of 10, they give you a theme, and that's where we start. And you connect the story, your personal story, with that theme. And it's your story matters, and no one can tell your story from your perspective except you. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next month, and we'll continue the conversation about write your book and grow your business. Mary Knipple, yourwritingmentor.com. Thank you.